Right, and then share my desktop. And promote to presenter. Okay, so you should be the presenter now, Mark.
I don't know if my mouse control is working. I'm trying to open the schedule book, but nothing's coming up. Can you click on the schedule book on the left-hand side and see if it'll open? Down just a little bit. There you go. All right, yeah, for some reason my mouse is not controlling it.
Hold on a second. I think I would do it by your name, but you know what? Let's just try that one. Can you do it now?
No, I can't close the schedule book. I can't draw in it. The first process I want to do, Becky, is I need to left-click, hold, and drag in order to search the software. If you want to left-click, hold, and drag for me, there you go. That's far enough. Just let go. You tell that okay. Yeah, I don't have control for some reason.
Let's see. I promoted you all. Let's see. I promoted your phone number and your name.
I wonder if it's because I'm not turning on my microphone. I wouldn't think that would be it.
I wouldn't think so either.
It's telling me now to allow my mic and my cam, but my mic is not, my speakers don't work on my computer.
Right.
So that's why I called in on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the phone too. Did you put in that little code that it asked you? I just linked, I guess, the phone to the thing. I don't know. Either way, I mean, I'm good with doing it if you, if you want to walk us through it, or I'm not sure. Both of my thing, it says that needs to install the screen plugin before they can screen share. Oh, this says the presenter needs to install the screen plugin before they can screen share. I don't know if maybe that has something to do with it. Because it has a little thing next to your name.
He's not trying to screen share. He's trying to take control of the mouse. So that's different. It kind of sounds like what you told it he could do is present his screen.
Well, the only thing it told me is I can promote to, well, let's see, I'll demote him then. Let's see if I can right-click. Well, there's no, options to, right-click and, say, give controls. All it says I can do is promote him to presenter.
He's not presenting, per se, so.
We could, and maybe that makes sense to me, though.
Yeah, because it's really the only thing that it gives you the option to do is to promote somebody. The only thing with his, if I...
do you have the access to TeamViewer on the server? Mark?
I'm sure they do. They normally, that's a routine for us to put it on.
They do. I was asking if you did.
Oh, I don't have that. No, I don't.
I was going to say I could remote desktop from her machine into the server, and then you could jump in TeamViewer and control it that way.
I have TeamViewer on my PC to where I could jump to the server. If I don't know the server IP or TeamViewer ID.
I can get that for you.
All right.
Becky, I'm jumping in on your computer. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
You don't have TeamViewer on that machine?
On this one?
Yeah.
Right now, no.
You want to load TeamViewer on there and have me just jump into that?
You can, if you prefer that way.
Probably the easiest is just www.viztek.net.
We'll be recording it through the other thing anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then?
Download.
Support. Downloads. And download TeamViewer.
Top right.
No, hold on. Okay, download TeamViewer on the right-hand side.
Down at the corner.
No, here. Scroll up. Right here on the right-hand side, download TeamViewer.
Yeah, I clicked it. It's downloading, just not popping up on this screen for some reason. Okay, I'm just going to assume it's in your months.
You should get a run option there. I couldn't read what that said. I mean, running from our site downloads 7, but that may run a different version, but I think I can jump to it.
No,
Go ahead.
This is from your site.
Yep. All right, both. Agree to that. Let's do 1Q, 2W, 3E, 4R, 5T. All right. I'm going to close out these screens that I'm on your computer and bring up my TeamViewer, and then I'll need you to give me that 9-digit number.
Okay.
All right, what's that 9-digit number?
725-892-755.
Yeah, I got it.
Yay. Okay. And if you,
All
it
right.
depends. I'm signed in, but if you would rather you sign in, then that's fine too, either way.
No, that's. Do you know if you have admin privileges?
I do.
All right. So this is our home screen. When you log in, this will be everybody that's scheduled for this date that's shown right here at the top. And as you go through workflow and you have questions about insurance and getting back to other dates, if I click these arrows, you can see that I can go and select dates by my calendar or choose some given date ranges. But when you initially log in, this will be everybody that's scheduled for the day. So let's go ahead and get somebody put in, and then I can show you kind of how we can rearrange our columns and make sure things fit, so we don't have to use this bar and scroll all day, because we have a lot of columns that are available to you. So let's get somebody in the schedule book, and I'm just going to open the schedule book, which I can do from the left-hand side or from up here. And a lot of the things that match under the menus up here match these on the side. They're identical. Just a matter of convenience of using them. Let me open my schedule book, and I don't know if you guys have worked on scheduled hours with John Bridwell or not, but you can see where it's kind of light blue here. Those are non-working hours. So for this CR unit, it looks like you're open from 8 o'clock in the morning until whatever the white is at the bottom, 5 o'clock at night. So I just want you to see how the schedule book's set up a little bit. And if I don't know, on these CR patients, are these mostly walk-ins, or do you actually take phone calls and schedule them?
I would think they'd be walk-ins mainly.
It doesn't make any difference whether we schedule them or walk in. The concept is the same for both. I'm going to left-click and hold and drag my mouse, and I don't care if I drag for 1 minute or 81 minutes. Doesn't make any difference. The key there for left-click, hold, and drag, and this just says that I'm going to fix an appointment in a non-working time, and I'm a little bit up above that time frame there. I'm just going to tell it okay. And it's reminding me that it's past the time of day. Your schedule book follows the clock and the time of day that it is right here in the corner. So it knows we're trying to put somebody in a past time.
Pop-up locked. Oh, is it okay to use Chrome with Viztek? I've had some issues trying to help on the packs, but I've never tried it with the Riz, or never noted.
We're supposed to be able to use Chrome with Riz. We're going to try it, and if not, then I guess we'll go back and just use IE. But I'm getting a pop-up blocker right here. So each workstation that you go to, if you load the Riz, it may ask you, and the pop-up blocker is nothing more than putting patients into the schedule book. So I'm just going to allow it to use the pop-ups from here. All right, let's do it again. Left-click, hold, and drag. Does nothing but make me search the software. So if it wasn't past the time of day, this box would have came right up. And I don't know, do we have patients in here, test patients? We're going to find out, I guess. Okay, so these are all test patients, I guess?
Yes.
All right, and you can see that you can search by medical record number or Social Security or date of birth, and you can do that just by clicking on any of those tabs. I have my login set up to default to search by name. And if I want to go to the first name and narrow it, I can do that. And I'll just look for a Viztek test patient. There we go. And once I've found that patient, then I can just double left click. And when I double left click, it brings me into the schedule screen. And you can see the top portion has all the patient information. And anytime that I want to edit in our risk software, I can look for a pencil with a piece of paper. And if I click that, then this frees this up for me to be able to talk to the office or the patient. Add any demographics that I need. I just clicked in the referring physician box. And when you use the boxes like this in Viztek software, basically it's like Google search. If I'm looking for Dr. Jones and I just start to type, it will follow me. You cannot free text into this box. You have to pick somebody that's in the referring physician list that's in our database. So if that doctor is missing, we would have to skip it, or from right here, off of the magnifying glass, instead of inside the box itself, I could click in the magnifying glass and then come in and put in a new referring physician.
Does
But
everybody
I
have
don't-
access?
I was just going to ask you, we're in as administrator. Is this just an admin privilege?
To be able to click in that magnifying glass and to be able to get this box, yes, that would be permissions that we need to set down and grant permissions for each employee or each group of employees.
Okay, my other question is, go ahead.
Yeah, that's right, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you as well, is it possible to suppress through privileges and not allow employees to edit demographics here? Can you turn that on and off, or everybody's given privilege to edit demographics?
While we're talking about it, I'll just go ahead and show you. So I'm going to leave my schedule book and go back to what I call my home screen. So if I had patients scheduled here, they'd be sitting here. Under Setup and Referring Physician and the Referring Physician list. And we can make the employees, different groups, whether we want them as front desk risk or we want them as admin. It doesn't make any difference because you can go into that employee and remove the permissions to add referring physicians even if they're an admin user. So whose login is this? Just yours, Becky? Yes.
Yes.
So if Becky had not had permissions, in red writing right here, I would have got access denied rather than this screen to build a new doctor. And we can do that per employee or we can do that per group of employees. And I don't know if we want to do that today, but under Setup and Users and Facility Users, and of course this would be part of my admin training. When I get on site, I normally take about an hour or so and take whatever admin people and do this kind of admin training. And you can see some of the employees are already listed in here and what their role is in the system. So even for Ryan, if we didn't want Ryan to build referring physicians, under the pencil then we could do group permissions if we wanted to do that, or under each employee. Actually, because he's an administrator, I don't have the opportunity to have the padlock. You can see on these two fake patients here, or employees, if I would click the padlock and then come and scroll through all these permissions, and of course this is what is taught in my admin training on site. That we can come through and...
Yeah. Becky's question was actually about actual patient demographics versus referring physician setting. Is that because we don't set our demographics in this application, they'll be pushed over from another application?
And they're going to be pushed to us, all the orders and all the demographics are going to come to us from what is this program?
One's a GE Centricity Group Management and one is GE Centricity EMR.
Okay. So Centricity will push the orders and the demographics to us?
Yes.
Is that order entry as well? So the order will actually come into our risk, is that correct?
for everything except for outside orders from referring physicians.
Okay. So based on that, we're also going to be getting the providers from Centricity as well, right? The referring physician?
No. I took them from there, but they didn't say that you could have a feed for that, so to speak.
They didn't have a feed for the referring physician area?
Right, so I manually create them in all the applications.
Okay.
If it's
so
possible,
just so you know,
then that would be fine.
Yeah, if we can get the referring physician feed, that'll be one less field we'll have to fill in when it hits the risk.
It would still have to be filled in for outside orders. If somebody, if somebody sent their patient over to us to get radiology done from another doctor's office somewhere, then we would need to fill that information in.
All right. So putting in the referring physician is different than having permissions to build a new referring physician. And I believe, even though we're getting a feed from Centricity, normally those doctors' names and NPI numbers from Centricity have to match in our RIS and our PACS. So normally we do an electronic upload of all those doctors, and I don't know if you've been working with John on that or anybody from Viztek to make sure those referring physician lists match.
Yeah, he uploaded what I exported out of our other system.
Okay. So if I remove that check mark here, then Ryan would not have the permissions to, or whatever user we're on, would not have the permissions to build a new referring physician in our system, but they still would be able to input a referring physician when they schedule the patient. So in here are our permissions and our rights to build insurance providers and those kind of things. And for those employees that we don't want to do that on, we just remove that.
What about changing demographics?
What's that?
Changing demographics.
Changing demographics? That falls under schedule. And obviously, if you're going to have somebody schedule, then you want those employees to be able to be in the patient's chart and add the new address and the phone number and those kind of things, correct?
No.
No?
They have a new address and phone number. It goes into a different system.
It goes into Centricity?
We have two interfaces. We have an ADT feed coming from our practice management system for patient demographics. So every time a patient changes something, they would change it in our practice management system and it would flow to your system. And then anytime an order is put into our EMR, we'll have an orders interface. And our understanding is that those orders that are placed in our EMR will go to your pre-orders list.
All right. Then let's do that. Let's not worry so much about the admin stuff because it looks like Centricity is going to control a lot of that. And it looks like what the data John's putting in for the referring doctors and the NPI numbers and all that, that's supposed to match. So that's kind of in the database. So
our concern is if the address is coming over from another application, we don't want employees to modify it here because it's not a bi-directional interface. So can we turn that access to edit patient demographics off in your system?
We can, but here's my concern that if you're getting outside orders, they're probably going to have to put data entry in for those orders, right? So if we get an outside order...
Even those would get put into the group management system. They just wouldn't be in the EMR.
So we would still get a feed into our RIS?
You would get an ADT feed for demographics. You just wouldn't get an order.
Yeah. Okay. So if we get a feed for demographics, basically it builds a chart on the patient, and we have all the information there. But if we don't get the order, we'll still have to put them into the schedule book manually. Is that what I understand?
Correct.
Okay. Well, based on that, then yes, we can remove the permissions to where they don't do the edits. And of course, in our training, we would make sure that they emphasize, we don't really care if the patient's name is misspelled in this RIS right here. It still has to be edited at centricity and the demographics be sent back across so that we have it correctly in our RIS. And then in my admin training, if we end up with duplicate accounts, I can show you how to make one of those inactive and keep the other one alive. So, do you think you'll ever, based on what you just told me, it sounds like pretty much every patient is going to go into the centricity system and we're going to get some type of feed so that we have all the different.
Right. It's two systems.
Okay.
They're actually made by completely separate groups. One is just a demographic feed into us. It's just, patient's name, MRN, date of birth, and all that kind of fun stuff, insurances. The other one is just an orders feed. And those will only be for orders from our doctors.
All right. So when we get that initial feed, we're going to get it basically in a pre-order in our RIS, and then we will put them into the schedule based on the time that we want?
Correct. And the only time we wouldn't get them as pre-orders is if somebody walked in off the street with a script to get a study done.
All right. So let's go with pre-orders, and I'm going to go under schedule and into my pre-order tab. In this screen would be all of our pre-orders that have been sent from Centricity. So we would have, whatever names listed here. I'm going to do a new pre-order just so that I can hopefully simulate this for you. And again, it's just search, just like I did when I was going to put them in the schedule book. And if I find my patient, I'm just double left clicking. Basically, what this gives me an opportunity to do is, this is basically, I'm just kind of showing you what is going to happen when we get a feed from Centricity. I'm going to skip the insurance for right now. Will we get an insurance feed as well?
It comes in with the patient demographics.
I had to change my modality to CR. For some reason, it was on BD. So if I type in here, and I don't know how you must have everything listed as X-ray?
You might have only loaded those. We haven't loaded everything yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. I'm just having a little trouble
finding my... Everything for CR is going to say X-ray.
I'm just looking for my chest. Do you know if it's CXR?
It should be X-ray dash chest PA lateral, I think, but they may not have loaded it yet. He said he only loaded a handful for us to play with.
All right, we'll just pick ankle. I'm assuming that means left.
Yes.
And you can see I can pick my orientation here if I want to, or bilateral. And we can rebuild these. Instead of right-left, we can rebuild that to stay bilateral if you want. Will they be putting in a diagnosis code or an ICD-9 or 10? Or does that happen at billing?
I guess, what is your suggestion? Normally we would put it on the billing side, but what do you use them for on your end? Do you use them in the report?
No. We only use them if the person that's looking at the script is responsible for going ahead and putting it in electronic because billing says they're not going to.
Our coders would essentially read the reports and then pull a diagnosis from there.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's a discussion we need to have in-house.
Yeah, we just need to kind of visit that and kind of see if it may actually need to be on the Centricity side. I don't know what transfers to billing.
Well, I think if the order The order generally does come with a diagnosis, so maybe they need to put the diagnosis that the order comes with here.
Which, do you guys have the ICD-10 in here or only ICD-9?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Well, I would have to actually ask. I'm not really sure if they've loaded the ICD-10s into these servers or not. To be honest with you, I can ask those that ship the server out.
All right, we'll follow up with that.
Yeah. Do you see a save and close button down at the bottom?
No.
Down below schedule notes should be save and close. I can't see that.
What about save and add new study? Is that the same in the middle?
No, if it do that, it's going to make this all blank again and thinks that I'm going to add a CT of the ankle or something like that to go along with this study. There should be save and close right down here at the bottom middle.
I had that problem too. My screen wasn't displaying correctly either locally on my machine. I don't know if it's the browser we're using or what.
Yeah, I still don't see it.
There's supposed to be a schedule notes section as well?
Yeah, there's that box should be a little bit larger and should be a full box, and right below that is save and close or cancel.
All right. I guess we should switch to Explorer, huh?
You want to try to go to IE and see what happens?
But I think if you do save and add new study and then just close it, won't you be able to do it that way for now just so we can move on?
I think so. I'm trying, but it's not. There we go.
We don't have durations loaded yet.
No, on any of them?
No, I don't think so.
So under setup in CPT fee, whoa.
Yeah, we don't have this part of the compendium done. We've just been
Becky,
working
can I
on
change it?
You can do whatever you want to.
All right. I need your change size. I need your page size to be bigger.
A dash.
Oh, you guys have your own.
Well, I need some fee schedule in here in order for us to be able to put an appointment in.
Are you looking for our study types here?
Yeah, but I don't think they're crossed
X-ray.
over yet, are they?
If it was, it would be X-ray without a dash in it.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be RADX. Wow.
What do you mean cross-reference? Because you guys have your own codes listed, then you guys cross-reference ours to yours?
Well, yes, we do an upload from the AMA, and they don't talk in very good language compared to radiology staff. So we do an upload from them, and then we cross it over to match yours. And I'm still not finding very good results here. I need to get some duration times in, or it won't let me schedule any patients. What do you think this is under? I don't know what this is under.
Well, you can look up the CPT code. can.
Do you know one of the codes?
The compendium.
Do you have a code?
I'm just pulled up the compendium here. We're looking for a particular code or the X-ray.
Yeah. It doesn't make any difference. As long as I guess we can do CR, CT, whatever you want to do. I'm sure that none of them are.
73610.
These are required in here, huh?
Well, at least for what we usually do is when we do the electronic upload, we just default $1 in if you're not going to use our fee schedule. And it doesn't add any monies to the patient. It just completes the process, if you will. 73610.
You want to switch to IE?
I guess if you want to give it a shot, we can see if the screens are better. You know the IP address?
Oh, you got an old browser here. What? Weird.
All right, Becky, sign in.
Some weird things going on here with browsers. Thinks this is an old browser.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, let me go in to my schedule and go in and try to put this patient in a pre-order so we can see what the feed's going to look like. Obviously, we wouldn't do these steps. I'm going to put a patient in to show you what the feed's going to be like coming from Centricity. All right, so this part's grayed out. I'm going to pick my referring physician. And this is what we would do for walk-ins as well. We would just be in the schedule book, or I guess your walk-ins you're going to go ahead and put through Centricity and try to drive them into the pre-order. Is that what we want to do?
No.
We just want to schedule them?
Their demographics will be pushed in, but their orders will not.
Okay. So basically this is what we would do with our walk-in patients as well. And you can see my duration times now, and it actually captured the right one as well, which is good. And this is a formality here. This just gets held electronically in the software. That doesn't transfer to the X-ray techs or the machines or anything like that. I still don't see save and close. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, it's not there.
No, that's...
All right. We'll forget that for right now. All right, now I'm going to close this. Refresh.
Nope.
I don't know why that did not come into my pre-order screen. I'm going to go in the patient's chart and just see if it actually put them in.
There's some kind of pop-up or something down below that's blocking something.
I don't see that. I can't see it. What does it say? Can you see what that says?
Trying.
Just a
Okay.
password thing.
Yeah. I'm going in the chart to see if it actually put the study into the system. It did not.
Go back into the pre-order screen.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed. So all locations. Let me try to do another one. I'm trying to simulate, all the patients sitting in this pre-order, basically for getting ready to be greeted at the window and put into our schedule book. From the way I understand that you're telling me how that's going to work.
Seemed like it popped in there and then disappeared.
What, you thought you saw it pop in the pre-order screen?
Like the buttons down, everything down here, seemed like it flashed, and then when the rest of the page pushed it down, it disappeared off of it.
Well, I'd like to have that save and close button because then I could see it pop in, but I'll do save and add new study because I can't see that.
Go ahead and do that. Let me try something.
Yeah, see if we can change the properties maybe.
What I was going to... Becky, you don't have any like larger font settings or anything set like that on here, do you?
No. Oh, you on mine?
On hers.
Probably without that save and close at the bottom, it doesn't save anything done on this. Even though you did save and add new study, it almost seems like that's only relevant to the study information.
Hey.
Oh, there you go.
Tab. Tab does.
What? Tab?
I went down here to this other axis and clicked on it, so I was just highlighted on it, and just tab to go to the next screen, tab, and as it went to those tabs, it loaded them.
We gotta get that fixed. Or teach them the shortcut. Maybe, is there like a shortcut key or something?
What, to tab to the bottom?
Or just for the save and close, like is there a control S or something?
Normally the screen's large where you just see it. We'll have to make sure we work on that on all those workstations. Okay, so in my pre-order screen, basically this is where I would come, you know, if I guess if I'm the scheduling person. So let me ask you this, when they're in the pre-order screen, will we be calling that patient the day before to confirm a time and to put them into our schedule book? Because right now, basically, I just an order.
Yes, that's what's happening. The radiology department would call these patients on the pre-order list and schedule them.
All right. So we'll call Mr. Test. We're going to right-click and schedule him. So I have Mr. Test on the phone. Basically, it's going to come up and know that it wants a CR, and these duration times, you saw that I set that ankle for 15 minutes. So basically, in the database through the PM or whoever's doing all your upload to get the site ready, they would need to change this to 15-minute duration time or 10 or however much you do for your CRs.
Why does it only show the Fort Myers office there? Because we have offices like our North office that sends patients to our Cape office for exams. So where is that pulling in from?
When we logged into the home screen, we picked the Fort Myers office as our location. But you're saying that when these come in from pre-order, we need to be flexible to be able to adjust that on the fly?
Well, we have schedulers like that. We kind of have only one location that schedules. Well, I mean,
okay.
There might be other locations that have one or two people, but the majority of our schedulers are at one location.
But they would schedule for all four.
Right, and you have a patient where the order might be put in at one location, but they go to another location to have that specific exam.
Okay, so we can change locations here. My concern is if we log into the Fort Myers site, you can see when I right-click and go to schedule, I'm locked into the Fort Myers site, and basically what I'm hearing you say is that from right here, we would need to change it to any office that we wanted. Is that correct?
Well, what I'm asking is if these are coming over through an orders interface, where is that even pulling from? Because this you put in.
I think that's a great question that I unfortunately can't answer until I get with the HL7 people and try to figure out exactly what messages are being sent and how they're being sent, because it looks like to me they'll have to probably pick the location from the centricity side. Or do you think that on the centricity side it's going to be generic with us needing the ability out of my wrist to put it in any location that we want?
Latter.
That's what we're after, is somebody puts the order in centricity, but when we go to schedule them out of my Viztek wrist from pre-orders, that we could choose any location?
Correct.
All right, so I know I chose this location, but let me go ahead and I'll pick one of these time frames here.
Why is it 30 minutes there when you scheduled it, when you told it that was a 15-minute study?
Because when you do pre-orders, it defaults to the duration time of the modality. And we've just had another site we've worked with where we've had to go back and tell them that these time slots need to reflect the time that we put in for the CPT code, not the modality. So I'll have to work with development on this. I just want to make sure that that they're setting it up the correct way. I see what you're saying. You're asking me why would that not be a 15-minute time slot if that's what I told ankles to be?
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have just scheduled it, then I would have got a 15-minute time slot for a right ankle. But because it came through pre-orders are defaulted by modality, not CPT code.
Yeah, we would probably need to get that changed.
Right away. I don't see that we could actually use the system until that's corrected. Because you're not going to have enough time slots to get you through the day out of CT and your other modalities. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to select this. I just want to go ahead and get them into the schedule book. I did not see that pop in there again. Did you? No one sees that patient, right?
Right.
In the pre-orders?
No, but it did say at the top in yellow, like a little yellow banner that says patient was scheduled or something.
I think you'd be back on your home screen now, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm going to my home screen. Okay, so he left my pre-order list and came into my schedule. I want to show you something here because I don't know if we're going to start setting up users or something, but if you look at the screen, it looks like mass confusion, right? None of the columns make any sense. So out of settings, and if we go ahead and build users, we can go ahead and get some of this stuff set up. Do you have a list of users for John to upload for you?
No, I figured we'd do that very last minute because they like going through employees.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, but I think you might be right because you can see each employee may want their columns set up a little bit differently. And what I'm doing is my patient name was so far to the right that I couldn't even see it. So what I'm doing is by highlighting this, my date of birth is so far over here that if it's a field that I look at regularly, I don't want to have to scroll to the right all day long. I want
Can
these
we set
columns.
these as defaults?
We can grant group rights, and then we can default these. And I think a lot of this depends on really how big is each person's screen and their monitor and their properties and what can they see in front of their eyes so they don't have to scroll any more than they have to.
Becky's screen's probably larger than the user screens.
Yeah. And just for training purposes, I'll go ahead and stop right here and I'll save this. And now you can see I've got my status, which is scheduled. Well, my patient name, my medical record number, date of birth. It just starts to make a little more sense once you start rearranging your columns. So basically what we have now is from the pre-order list, we have a 1055 right ankle. So we moved him from the pre-order into the schedule book. And so now our home screen is reflecting all the patients on July the 2nd. Are you guys going to use our system for modality work list?
Yes.
Okay. Normally, out of modality work list, once we get them out of the pre-orders into the schedule and they actually have a time frame, I guess, are we going to, I don't know the responsibilities of your staff, but do you scan the insurance card, the driver's license, the script? Do you scan all that stuff now?
The script, yes.
In the radiology, the other stuff goes into our EMR.
So your driver's license, insurance, all that will go into the EMR, the centricity side of the EMR? We won't scan into my wrist, is that correct?
I don't know what they do with radiology-only patients.
We will definitely be scanning in to your I don't know, RIS or PACS, because we've got a combined RIS PACS right now, so I'm not sure which side things are split out on, but like tech worksheets and stuff like that get scanned in.
And you make those convenient for radiologists to see, like as a thumbnail?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll scan those into PACS then.
I do believe the order's in there as well.
What's that?
I think the order is in there as well.
Yeah, the script.
Goes into centricity or goes in for the radiologist?
In for the radiologist.
And do you want to make that convenient for them to just be able to see it like it's a thumbnail, just like another CR image or a CT series?
It's right now separate of the images. I mean, it's a separate viewer, but it's available to them.
All right, so we have two options. One is we can scan into our RIS, and out of the PACS we have a RIS document folder, but they would have to open it and then look and see tech worksheet for CT, tech worksheet, ultrasound, whatever we name them, and then open those. Or we can scan the PACS directly to PACS, and the script and the tech worksheet then becomes a thumbnail, just like a DICOM image, and the radiologist just pulls those into the viewer when he wants to look at them.
So they get included with the images?
They do if you scan the PACS.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but quite a few of us have another call to go to right now.
Okay. No problem. Obviously, I can get in the system now. I can put some more patients in pre-order. I can do a few more duration times. I'm sorry for the confusion, but the system just really wasn't set up for us to really do a good, quick workflow.
That's okay. We probably jumped the gun a little bit. We're just trying to kind of get a good, idea so that when we're starting to go through these calls or now starting to make decisions that we can, kind of really think about, what our current workflows are and what we're going to. Because if you're talking about scanning directly to PACS, that means that we have to give all of our check-in, check-out people 2 logins. So those are some of the decisions that we need to be able to make on our side. So I think we were just looking for, a good overview, which we've not really had, so that moving forward we can make some good decisions.
Okay. So yes, the PACS side of it, we are separate. Our RIS and PACS do set separate. Now, we make them talk to each other via the radiology report. And we can make them talk by scanned documents. But if your radiologists need convenience, then we'll definitely need to scan to PACS. And you're right, those people that would start and end studies in RIS would also need a PACS login. So they would have 2, one to RIS, one to PACS.
Okay,
and
so
they'll need to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, if you do load some additional stuff for us, do you have some time next week to be able to meet again then, so that we can kind of see from start to finish and ask about some of these other options?
Yeah, what I'd like to do, and I know you all need to leave, but just quickly I'll cover this. I'd like to be able to play with this over the weekend and put some pre-orders in for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And it looks like my site's been postponed, so I'm not going to be traveling and training next week. So I could set up a time where we could come in so that when I click on the pre-order screen that you can actually see 6 or 8 patients, something that makes a little more sense.
Okay.
And we could go into pre-orders. I could actually let you take the mouse and say, okay, Mark, I'm going to schedule this patient for Wednesday. Walk me through the process.
Right.
And then while we do that, you stop me and say, wait a minute, I do need to add insurance, or we are going to scan this script into PACS. Let's stop and let's do that right now so we can understand workflow.
Right, yeah, and that's kind of, I think, what we're looking for a little bit of, just because then we find things like even, when we were on that location, okay, well, we schedule for all locations, so, do we need, while we're still building it, need to make sure that we have that functionality so we don't get to the end of this process and realize we don't have what we need.
We've been working on a site in Massachusetts where we had the same thing, where I set, like a 15-minute time limit for my studies. And then when I go to pre-orders, my CR would default me to 30. And development worked for weeks on changing that. So I can call the app specialist that was at that site for the last month and work with Jeff to see if we can get development to make sure that that stuff starts to get changed, because it's not like it's an overnight change. And I think if we start to find these things now, we can start to build it properly so it works for you when we get the install done.
Okay. I know that I'm available next Tuesday. The rest of the team, are you guys available next Tuesday?
What time was that again?
I don't know. Do you have a specific time you're available?
10's good. If you want 10 again. Or we did 9 this morning. What did we do this morning? No, we did 10, yeah.
Yeah, because Mark's behind us, so don't make it too early for him.
It's whatever you want to do. So do you want to...
And Ryan?
Do you want to see...
I'm open.
So, Becky, do you want to send an invite out then for sometime on Tuesday?
Yep, I'll send another invite out then so that we're all on it, and then we can meet again. So we appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us a call and working with us, and then so we'll be looking forward to being able to see additional patients and kind of go through the process.
Yeah, let me talk to John and get a little more organized on the workflow. I think I understand it now, but I think if I have some pre-orders in for next week and you guys actually grab the mouse and say this is what our schedule people do, and at this point we need to know about demographics or whatever, then I think it'll make a little more sense.
Okay.
So my schedule as of right now, Becky, is just wide open. If you want to send an invite out, you don't need to call me back. I'll just watch for the invite and accept it.
Okay.
Schedule it as a longer one if possible.
Yeah.
What's that?
Did we want to do 9 to 11 or something like that, or no?
12.
You can't do 9?
10 to 12?
How about 10 to 12?
I'm good with that. Are you okay with that, Mark?
Is that 10 to 12 East Coast time?
It would be Eastern.
Yeah, 9 to 11 my time on Tuesday. That'll be fine.
Okay. I'll send the invitation out for that time period then.
All right. So I'll just stay. I've got the TeamViewer ID number. So if you guys will leave the workstation up to where I can just jump in and do some of my pre-orders and get some of my duration.
Let me stay on the line with me after this, and I'm going to get you a different TeamViewer. That's Becky's workstation. So stay on the line with me, and they can drop off, and I'll get you in.
Okay. I apologize for the confusion, but I appreciate your patience, and I think this will make more sense next week. And actually, you all are helping me out with not being at your site yet and not knowing your workflow. It's certainly helping me understand where we're going with this project.
Good. Well, we look forward to seeing you or hearing from you next week then, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Becky, you probably can't drop off. Still there?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Is this Ryan?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's Becky's workstation that you're in right now. Let me get
All
you
right.
the team viewer of the server. Oh, I'm not in it. Let's see here.
I'm going to sign out of here, Ryan.